It's the end of the year as we know it. It's the end of the year as we know it. It's the end of the year as we know it. And I feel fine. Do you feel fine?
Hi, welcome to Kick-Ass Switch, putting the K in magic. I'm Joanna DeVoe, and you're watching Mega Vlog number 12. Mega Vlog number 12. I want to go back in time, it seems, back to Mega Vlog number 10, but we can't go back in time, which is the point in singing. It's the end of the year as we know it. It's the end of the year. It's December. 2016, the year of the Queen, is almost over. That song was in my head because the day after the presidential election, I heard that there were people that had like patio and porch parties where they just played that song on a loop. It's the end of the world. So it's kind of been stuck in my head all November. But I was thinking about it being the end of the year this morning because it's December 1st, and how this is the last month of the year. How I am a person who traditionally does not do well with change, which is funny because I'm always talking about change. Magic is creating change in consciousness with your will. And for me, magic, I got really good at it when I learned how to transition and to stop resisting change and to allow. Because I think the time it takes to manifest something into your life when you set an intention is really the time it takes to release all that resistance that you have in your shadow and your subconscious mind to that thing, to that change you're trying to create. So, of course, I can read, I get all deep and read into things more than the original intention usually. I don't think that's what REM, is it REM? That's an REM song, right? It totally is, right? It's gotta be. If not, I've had that wrong for decades now, but I don't think that was their intention when they wrote that song, but I was just thinking about the end, it's the end and I feel fine. And that's a product of faith, that not only are you going to be fine, but that in every end there is a beginning, which brings me around to the theme for December. I hope it makes sense to you now that I gave it that little prelude, because the theme is Happy New Year! I am doing a New Year theme all through December. And before I get too carried away in talking about that, let me tell you too, early right now in the video, that if you're not watching this video on my blog, follow the link down below to my blog so that you can check out this really awesome emoji spell that Diana Chin of Modern Witchy Woman created for us all. I featured a story she did, I want to say, I don't know, however many weeks ago in the Weekly Witch Review. I linked to a piece that she wrote about Emoji Magick. And then when I was doing the interview with Fiona Benjamin, I hope you caught that, we just organically, randomly, synchronistically, we just started talking about that link. And I did not remember Diana Chin's name or the name of her website because it's just something I came across in my internet travels. But we actually got into quite a discussion about Emoji Magick and how emojis are the new language. They're the language of now, they're the language of the future, and they're more emotive. They're like hieroglyphs kind of in a way. So why wouldn't we write spells using emojis? I don't know if Diana saw that interview, but shortly thereafter, she sent me a message saying, thank you so much for including a link to the piece I wrote on Emoji Magick in your witch review. And just kind of offering herself up for whatever, I can create something for your people. So she is an exemplary biz witch. I was like, yeah, why don't you create, since, people since I've talked about it already and I've featured it already, why don't you create an emoji spell for the new year? And she was like, I'm on it. And she created it. She created some graphics. She wrote the spell and she had it to me like right away. And I just want to put that out there for any of you biz witches out there. I do a lot of biz witch coaching calls, and a big problem in having an online business or any kind of business is fear and getting out of your own way. And I just have to say, Diana really impressed me in like reaching out, offering herself up to like create something, a guest post, do an interview, something like that, taking me up on my offer, and then putting something quality together in like record time and having it to me, which is why it's in today's blog post, like December 1st, right away. It goes so perfectly with the theme, and it's really cute. So check it out, and just that's a biz witch tip. I'm gonna try to do a podcast or a video for you at some point in December, hopefully. I say try because I'm trying to do a lot in December, and some things are gonna have to go. If I don't get to it in December, I will get to it in January, but there's been a couple of themes in my coaching calls in 2016 that I just wanted to share with you, just some free BizWitch advice. So I will be doing a BizWitch something soon for those of you who like that stuff. But I have found, going back around to what I was saying about doing Happy New Year for the entire month of December, we often focus on the new year in January, and that's fine, that's cool. But I found in working with the Wheel of the Year, the winter solstice module, I've made that very much focused on New Year, and I found I created that in 2013. So I've been doing it now for a few years, and I have found that it's really prepared me for the new year. And so instead of like waking up on New Year morning and being like, oh, I want to change my life, and you're setting all of these, goals and things like that, but the gym isn't even open and the stores are closed, and you're still like, you've got all your snacks left over from the holidays, and you're in your new fuzzy pajamas you got for Christmas. I have found that planning in December for your new year is stellar. It has definitely changed my entire year. 2016, the year of the Queen. Looking back, it's funny, this year people say, oh, where did the time go? It just flew by. This is one of my favorite years of all time. I think it's partly because of what I just said. Like, I got into a rhythm with the Wheel of the Year and doing like the winter solstice module weeks before the new year and really preparing myself, and I was super gung-ho, and I can still so vividly remember all the little things that I did setting my intentions for 2016. A really special candle spell that I did that I picked up from Veronica Varlow. I think I might do that again this year. And I don't know, that was just a really, I will always look back at that new year, that little transition there, very fondly, not only because I was having a blast and I was filled with optimism and positivity, because I was so excited about the Year of the Queen, but also because 2016, the Year of the Queen, has been rad. Where's my post-it note of radness? So many good things this year. I scribbled on a post-it note before I sat here talking to you because I didn't want to forget anything, but I mean, really, who cares about my year? I don't know, I can mention it really quick, but I talk about it all year long, so I don't know how much you want to hear me talk about myself. But 2 cool, fun trips that I got to go on was going to Vegas with my mom and her sister, my Aunt Bonnie, and my sister. It was like a sister's trip to Vegas. And that was really fun and needed. And it was actually an intention that I set at the beginning of the year. I got really into manifesting and setting intentions. And I've been working with this Pinterest board where I put my intention to manifest something on my Pinterest board. And I'll usually put several pictures of the things I want to manifest. And I had decided that I wanted to see J-Lo in Vegas, which I thought was absurd because I'm such a hip and cool rock girl. why would I want to go see J-Lo? But I wanted to. I was just, something about her at that time was inspiring me. Not, her music's cute, it's fun, but it wasn't about the music. It was about the woman, like who she was coming out of her divorce, all the things that she does, how she takes care of her body, how she takes care of her kids, how, and this is the really key thing for me, how she is known for not being the best singer or the best actor. I think she's a really good actor sometimes, and a great dancer, a phenomenal dancer. But how she got to where she is by just like blood, sweat, and tears. She had no connections. She really was Jenny from the block. And in this time where I see all, like, it seems like, this is just my perspective, but it seems like every billionaire and movie star, their kids, there's this sense of entitlement. I want to be a supermodel too, daddy. And then there are Victoria's Secret angels, like bada bing bada boom. And if they don't look like a Victoria's Secret angel, they're getting the nose job and the boob job and and good enough. Go on out there, girl, and make your millions. Like, I'm just seeing so much nepotism. And maybe the nepotism has always been there, and I'm just more aware of it now. But it seems like Hollywood is really being taken over by kids of celebrities. And so to see somebody, I love Hollywood. This is not just about Hollywood. That was just a focal point for me when I decided, like, J-Lo's cool. She's scrappy. I like someone who just, like, when she came up too, like, her body type was considered fat, if you can believe that. Like, it was like skinny white girls only allowed here, and then out busts this, like, beautiful, voluptuous woman with a big, big booty. And she made that beautiful before the Kardashians. So that's why. See, I'm just talking about it now. Like, I'm totally like, I agree with myself. Yeah. So that was cheesy and it was corny, but it was really fun. And my mom and my aunt, they are in their 60s, in their early to mid 60s. And so they're still young enough to go do fun things like that. And I just have this sense of, like, time. I worked with Saturn, and working with Saturn really, like, it's a reality check. It's like, time is limited here, like, what are you going to do with your time? So I'm so glad, I could get choked up. I'm so glad that I took that time and got to go with my family. And it was really exciting too to originally have the intention at the beginning of the year and pick something so absurd and so random and so outside what is normal for me, and then manifest it quickly. Almost all expenses paid, and very, very quickly. It was pretty fun. That was a great manifestation. And then the second trip was going to Portland with my son, which I made a big deal about, so I probably don't have to, like, talk too much about that here, but that's exciting. Every year on our birthdays, we're taking another trip. We're torn right now for 2017 if we're going to go to Massachusetts to see Boston and Salem primarily, but Salem and Boston are so close, you got to make it a twofer when you're coming from California. So I'm, like, torn between that and New York. He really wants to go to New York City. We lived there briefly, but he was such a baby. He doesn't have, literally like a little tiny baby before his first birthday. He doesn't have New York memories, and he loves Home Alone 2, that movie. So he wants to go see Kevin's New York. Kevin is Macaulay Culkin, if you didn't know, from Home Alone. But we have seen that movie 10 million times. So, We'll see which wins out. I love New York. And I wouldn't mind going back, but it is more expensive, and there's some awesome people in Salem that I would like to meet who I've made friends with, and also, it's just so witchy. So I don't know how that's gonna go, but it felt good. Like, every year I want to stretch and spend, raise more money to go on these trips and do a more expensive, more like a further away trip, to where ultimately, hopefully, we end up in Italy and all kinds of places. But we're starting with America and working our way out. that way. So what else was on my post? Oh God, Mad Men. Mad Men just jumped out at me too. But before I say that too, a major highlight was my birthday and having Dawn Champagne of the Goddess Diaries like fly out from Idaho, getting to spend time with her, and then getting to have my birthday party with drag queens and Eric Silvermoon and Eric and Amber and Barry. It was great. That was very special too. But Mad Men right behind you that you can't see. I now have a Mad Men poster on the wall next to my Hillary Clinton poster on the wall. Should I talk about politics? I don't want to. When I said in my last video that I love Hillary Clinton, I really made, that's gotta be perfect. I really made an effort during the election to only say what I love about my candidate and why, and just that I love her, and not you're a dumbass if you don't. You're an idiot if you're voting for this person or that person. But what I have found that in simply saying that, it has invited other people to tell me I'm an idiot and why. And interestingly, this is not often coming from Trump supporters. It's coming from Bernie supporters. I don't know if that's because I do a podcast called Hippie Witch and hippies gravitate toward that, and hippies wanted Bernie, so now they think I'm a traitor. I don't know what that's about, but I didn't address any of that because I don't think I need to. I don't have to. But if I'm talking toward the end of this, maybe I'll tell you why Hillary. But she didn't win, you know, so I don't know what that will do. Although I am really interested in this recount that is going on. Regardless, Mad Men literally was a highlight of my year. That was one of the most exciting, fun things of my year. I will say, in really getting involved politically with Hillary Clinton's campaign, and then even after the election, staying involved and supporting the last senator are we going to turn that seat blue, and getting involved, donating, signing petitions. I really felt like in the year of the Queen, my inner feminist stepped up and out, and Mad Men really was a part of that. It really tapped into it because the first season I was pissed. I think I was raised in 1950s America, even though I grew up in the late 70s and early 80s. Those values were my family's values. I was very much raised to be a housewife, and not a very good one. I didn't even know how to take care of myself at all, just to be somebody's wife. That was the goal, be somebody's wife. And my dad used words like feminazi. I was not raised to be a feminist. I just am one at heart, I think. And for me, feminism is about men's rights too. It's about not shoving people into roles. Nobody's better than anybody. If you have a family or just two of you are living together and you have to pay the rent, you have a 2-income household, certainly if you're a man and the woman that's contributing to that is only making 70% of what her male counterparts are making, it hurts you too. It hurts you too. So it's for everybody. And then for men, it's, feminism. Feminists love men. Most of us do. I do not relate to this weird stereotype of the angry feminist. Like Gloria Steinem is my hero and she loves men. She's my shero. She loves men, and we have sex with men. We like them. We think they're cool. We like to talk to them. And the feminists that I resonate with say hey, feminism is great for men too, because it's you don't have to be the breadwinner. Being a good provider is not the standard of what makes you a good man. You don't have to be strong and suck it up. You can be the whole range of emotions. You can be whatever kind of man you want to be. And, and also the patriarchy creates a hierarchical system where only certain men get to be at the top, and then it's like a pyramid out, and most men end up at the bottom of the pyramid, and then they get to be a little bit superior than the women and children kind of thing. That's how I was raised. That's very biblical, you know. So that's why I feel that way, and that's why Mad Men really like got inside of me. But then they got I could talk about Mad Men. I could be the Mad Men spokeswoman and go around the country telling everybody why it's so amazing. So I did kind of start watching it again when it was over because I was so upset that it was over. But then Good Girls Revolt came along, which is based on a true story. It is on Amazon Prime. Holy crap, did that. Not only, it's very different than Mad Men. I don't think it's fair to say, like a lot of people were saying, it's like the sequel to Mad Men, or it's like Mad Men. It's not like Mad Men, but it's from that same time period in a similar industry. And so it does kind of scratch that itch a little bit. And if you liked Mad Men for the same reason I do, it really scratches that itch. So I had a blast watching Good Girls Revolt leading up to the election. So I was just like, Feminist Joe, like all through October. So, what else is on here? Okay, books. I'll just quickly mention this because I already mentioned this on Patreon yesterday. And FYI, Patreon, I have that set up so it's like the world's cheapest membership site. And I think I'm going to be flip-flopping things. Like in the beginning, Patreon was like bonus content for the people who are supporting me on Patreon. And as I've gone along and I've developed this like appreciation for those people, I'm like, whoa, this is my core support. Like this is the heart of my tribe. Like these people are showing up here. They're like parting with their dollars. Literally, it's $1 to join there to get a video a month, and it's $5 to get 2 videos, and it's $5 to get 2 videos and 3 podcasts. I'm like, should it be the other way around? Like that is my content, and then everything else that I'm doing for free should be the bonus to that, because these are the people that are like, hey, we're here for you, we have your back. So I think in 2017 the focus is going to switch. I think I'm going to do more interviews on the Tuesday podcasts, and then do more tutorials and teachable things, stuff that I was typically doing for free in years past. I think I'm going to start doing more of that for Patreon. And I say I think because it's still newish and I'm still figuring it out, and I'm good at listening to what people want and kind of keeping that two-way street, that co-creation. In my newsletter this weekend, I'm going to send out Co-Creating 2017. I send a newsletter out, or I send a survey out at the end of every year asking you what you want Kick-Ass Witch to be. So if you have opinions and you have thoughts, or if you just want to be helpful or supportive, open that newsletter, fill out that survey, and that will very much shape how things go in 2017 for Kick-Ass Witch. I will just mention the books that I was going to mention because I already did in that Patreon video. I did a big book nerd starter kit where I just recommended like all of the best books for like getting started on personal development with a touch of magic, I guess is how you would say it. But 2 books, like books of the year for me. One was, you probably can guess if I gave you enough seconds, Sidewalk Oracles by Robert Moss. I know so many of you got that book. That would be my nonfiction pick of the year. Sidewalk Oracles by Robert Moss. So good. And then my fiction pick is somewhere. Let me grab it. This book, The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George. I'm hoping to do a book nerd post on this, so I won't tell you too much about it, except that it is extraordinarily unique and quirky. It is unlike anything I've ever read before. It takes place in Paris, obviously, and the setting, this is not the plot, but the setting is a book apothecary. that is a barge on the river that has been converted into a bookshop. But the owner calls it a book apothecary, and he intuits what his customers need. He intuits like what their symptoms are, and then he prescribes them the perfect book that they need. It's like his magical gift. So it's not a book about magic, unless you consider that magic, and I do. So those are my 2 picks for the best books. Oh my gosh, I totally just remembered something that I have to include. I finished the video, I shut my camera off, and I was like, I didn't talk about this thing. One of the highlights of 2016. I might just edit this in awkwardly somewhere in the middle because I don't want you to miss it. And it's already been a long video. But this, check it out. This is what I want to talk about. But this is pretty cool too, right here. I love Victorian jewelry. I love Edwardian, Georgian, and Victorian jewelry. I love seed pearls especially. And I love the way the Victorians, they took like gray seed pearls and garnets, or seed pearls and turquoise. They did these like weird combinations. And so I just have a thing. It's very, very expensive to collect Victorian jewelry. I'm going to try to make a long story short so this video isn't hugely long, but my dad, he's one of these people that goes to auctions and he's just bought a huge like trailer full of stuff before, like not even knowing what's in it, or he'll just get a big box of stuff. He got a big lot of jewelry from this auction, and then he let me like pick through it and like is like, if there's anything you like, just, get it before I put it up on eBay, or we get rid of it if it's not worth anything. And I immediately like zeroed in on this bracelet. I knew exactly what it was. I knew it was Victorian revival, either from the 40s or the 70s. I knew it was seed pearls and a cameo there in the center, and I was like, mines! And I have teeny, teeny, tiny wrists. You can't tell because it looks like they're bigger than me when I put them closer to the camera. And it fit me perfectly. Like, that's a problem because my wrists are so small. Stuff just like hangs off me or falls off my hand. But it was like made for me. So he's like, fine, it's yours. So I was so in love with it. And I decided to bust out my reading glasses like in the light and search it for a stamp. And I found a stamp. It was Karu, K-A-R-U, 5th Avenue. And it took a lot of Googling to get any kind of detailed information on it, but it is from the 40s, and interestingly, the founder of this company, Karu, was Kaufman, and it was Andy Kaufman's dad, which was really, really cool. So I learned all about this company. I learned as much as I could about the bracelet and the year it was made. And then I decided that wasn't enough. I needed to know the lady that owned the bracelet, because I started imagining her in my mind, like, I wonder when she got this. I wonder how old she was. I wonder if it was a present. And my imagination was just running wild. So I called my dad and 20 questioned him about it. And my family knows I'm very Plutonian. I have tons of Scorpio in my chart. I have such like a cluster fork in the house that Scorpio rules, and so I'm very like, I'm a digger. I'm not a good person to keep secrets from, especially in the internet age, because I will get to the bottom of like, I will not stop. And I've always been that way, but the internet has really empowered that side of me. So the only details I could get were the date of the auction he bought it and the city the auction was in. But because I am super Scorpion Plutonian digger, it took me 4 hours of hardcore intense Googling. I was going through obituaries and genealogy reports and landed on what I was certain was this woman. And her name was Lavetta Jane. Lavetta Jane, and they called her Bill, which I still don't know why they called her Bill, but her name was Lavetta Jane, and she was really interesting for her time. She died a couple years from her 100th birthday, but she was highly educated, and she worked as a medical technician. She was a career woman, but she was also a wife and a mother, how you would expect someone to be of that time. But she was educated and well-traveled and fascinating woman. So I called my dad. I'm so excited about this information. I learned all about her parents. Both her mom and her dad's name were Cecil. So the mom ended up going by her middle name, which was Lavetta also. So there wouldn't be confusion, you know, like Cecil and Cecil, kind of like Eric and Eric. Anyway, so I call my dad with all this information. He laughs because he knows what a goofball I am, and thinks it's interesting. There's no way to verify that I'm right about the woman. And then he calls me back a few hours later, and he's like, "You're not going to believe this. I was going through all my business cards," because my dad is super social. He has to dump business cards kind of at the end of the week. And he was just going through them, and he's like, "And I remembered there was this guy that was asking me at the auction about, like, my dad had a property on St. Croix. So this guy was asking him, how do I move to St. Croix? How do I get to the island? What do I have to do?" And he was really curious. So he gave my dad his card if my dad had any information. He's like, and I think he was like the grandson of the people that died. So he called that guy and got the number to that guy's mom, who turned out to be Lavetta's daughter. And in fact, I was right. Lavetta Jane, aka Billy, was the owner of this bracelet in the 40s. So this woman has agreed to talk to me. I get to talk to her on the phone and interview her, find out why they called her Bill. I really want a picture. There's a picture of her that's like that big from her obituary, but she's a very old woman in the picture. And I would love a picture, even just a digital copy of Lavetta in the 40s. Because I've been doing this thing. This is my Tea Party grandma's watch. And again, it like fits me perfectly. So I put them on, and I'm like, my Tea Party grandma's name was Gladys, and she was easily the most magical person that I've ever known. Really special. She was my great grandma, very old. And so I put these on and I say, hi, hey Gladys, hey Lavetta. And I feel like I'm taking these women with me in my day, and like a little piece of them is living on through my enthusiasm. And it's a little weird calling this woman and being like, hey, I've been stalking your family. But I think she's flattered by the thought that someone was that excited and wanted to learn more about her mother. So I'm going to learn all about Lavetta Jane, and I'm super excited. And what else? I guess should I tell you why I love Hillary? I'm just not in the mood. I'm not in the mood, which is funny because that's all I have been talking about nonstop. If you want my political opinions, I've gotten very political on Twitter. I've had to restrain myself. I did a lot of tweeting and deleting is what I started calling it. Because tweeting, it lends itself to like heat of the moment. It's 140 characters. You're like, and I'd kind of put something out there, and then later I'd be like, ooh, I don't know. I either feel too vulnerable, or maybe that was like too harsh. So I would delete it. And I did a lot of tweeting and deleting in November, and I haven't done it lately, but I was finding my voice. But I've talked about it there. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you why I love Hillary. How about that? Okay, so yeah, no, I just agreed with myself. I just argued with myself and then agreed with myself, and I will definitely edit all of the arguing and agreeing with myself out. Yep, Kick-Ass Witch is about you all. It's not about my political opinions, and I'm really trying to put a lid on that for now. I might write for other magazines and newspapers to give that part of my personality an outlet, but I don't think that needs to be a part of Kick-Ass Witch. I don't really see how it fits in. So, having said that, I lost both my flip cameras. I lost one in Vegas, and the second one after I did the Healing Magic of Food flip cam footage. I hope I find it somewhere in my house, but in the meantime, I have no footage for you. This might be the last mega vlog. I haven't decided if I'm gonna do more in 2017, so let me know if you like these. Do you like the mega vlogs? Do you like vlogging? And until we meet again, Happy New Year! almost. Happy New Year, almost. If you want to do the winter solstice module, it's around. And until we meet again, much love. Peace.